Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Eagles in the Spotlight. I am Coach Ali Mumar and I am the host for this show. Before we continue, we would love to appreciate our partner, Get Blued. So you can check them out. They're in Shopee, Lazada. You can also go to their social media site. So that's really cool. So thank you. Second episode, we already have a partner, a sponsor. So Get Blued, thank you so much. Anyway, I'm very excited for this episode because we will be talking about the champion programs and with the champion coaches of the Ateneo, actually three of them. So I'm going to introduce the first one. She started out young, learned badminton from her dad, became a national champion, became the coach of our program, and has led us to multiple championships. Actually, nakapag-double championship tayo ng men's and women's sa badminton in the UAAP because of her leadership. So let's welcome our first guest for today. All right, Coach Kennie Asuncion.
Hi, Coach Ali.
Hey, Coach Kennie, how's it going?
Good. We're all, coping with the new situation, but everybody's good.
Oh, and I introduced you as the one who brought us a double championship. Grabe, no? Talagang bitin na ba kayo na walang UAP?
Sobra. I mean, the kids are all like, parang, Coach, meron na ba? Parang, ano kaya? When kaya? Parang ganyan. So, we're trying to, stay, getting everybody still into training and, keeping their hopes up that things will slowly get better.
Yeah, so we would love to hear a lot of the stories, aking mga inside scoops mamaya, okay, Coach Kennie? So
Right.
make sure kwento mo sa amin yan. Our next guest is our swimming coach. Grabe, I mean, he again, international. Alam, paulit-ulit yung sasabihin ko when I introduce our champion coaches, international champion, brought, again, multiple men's and women's championships in the UAAP to our swimming program. Let's all welcome Coach Archie Lim!
Hello, Coach Ali.
It's great to see you. How's it going? How's the team? How are you?
Oh, everything's good. Yun nga, like Coach Kennie kanina rin said that we're trying to cope up. Of course, we have our own problems, but we're doing good. We're doing better, much better.
How many straight championships na ba tayo in swimming?
Yeah, the men's just won their sixth championship, and then the women's is the third straight.
Okay, just their sixth straight championship, 3 straight for the women. We'll get back to you, Coach Archie.
Right.
Pero yung mga kwento, yung mga storya, I'm sure inaabangan ng ating mga nanonood ngayon. Our last, third naman ay si Coach Ali Sulit, who is a national judo champion. And again, he has brought us to multiple championships for our program. And wag na natin patagalin to. Champion, international, 5-time judo champion as well. Sobrang daming awards, both in the UAAP and internationally. Coach Ali Sulit!
Thanks for having me. Hi, guys.
Coach, how's the team? How are you?
Everything's good. I'm just really thankful that after being in lockdown for so long, the team and I are we're still able to train and see each other on a weekly basis. It's a good thing. It was difficult, especially for our sport, because judo you need to have a partner to practice it. So we had to be really creative, and because of that, it's a good collaboration between me and my coaching staff. We are still able to provide our athletes a good workout, things that will keep them in shape, and we're trying out new exciting things, other forms of exercises. So we're ongoing. The training is great, and we're doing our best to keep everybody in peak form and
Alright,
still
great.
enjoy meeting each other. Yeah.
Definitely, we would love to hear some of those unique, adaptation of training, if you will. And we'll definitely hear that from the whole show today. I would like to call back everybody because I'm really excited to hear all the stories and their background, how they got into Ateneo. So ayan, si Coach Archie and Coach Kenny are back. Uh,
Hey,
these are also the men and women who I work with in the athletics office. So they are not only our coaches, but they are our brilliant program heads taking care of our program. So susimulan ko na kaagad. Let's start with the lady muna, okay? When did you start coaching and being involved with Ateneo?
So I started with Ateneo 2003. The team manager then approached me because he was very actively playing, and I think that was the time that it was the peak of badminton. So they talked to me. And marami din akong players who were in Ateneo. So parang parang I took on the challenge, and from then on tuloy-tuloy na.
Oh, nice. Later, you'll talk about specific challenges. You have to share it with me and with all our viewers some of the challenges. Coach Ali, how did you get into it?
Well, it started because wala akong background sa martial arts when I entered college, and then I ran out of PE classes. It was a choice between ballroom dancing and judo.
I'm so glad you picked judo. That we have a winning program because of you.
Sometimes I second guess myself, and I think, I could have become a really great dancer by now.
Pero, so ganun, nagsumula ka PE and then
Yeah.
tuloy,
Wala pang UAAP judo at that time. There was no not even the demo sports yet. We were actually the first demo events for judo in the UAAP. My
Wow.
first 2 years there, and my graduating year was actually my fourth year college was the first official judo UAAP event that was in 95, 96.
Alright.
Naglabasan na yung mga edad, no? Tsaka yung
Okay
years,
lang,
yeah.
mahina naman ako sa math, hindi ko makukompute yun. Pero yung coach, how do you get into coaching after, of course, competing for us?
Yeah, so we were a club for a long time. We weren't varsity yet. So, but syempre, they had to tap the club just to start off the demo event. So we had 2 years of demos for UAP judo. And then my first, my first year to compete was my graduating year, and then I took my masters. And then after, no, actually, I graduated. I took a year off because I was working, and then the year after that, I decided to take my masterals, and that made me eligible to compete again. But during that time, our coach was my sensei. He was a professor at UP. And I think UP had a situation back then, the CHK, they said that none of their employees can work in other universities. So he had to resign from Ateneo. And so I took over as coach. I mean, I was a young coach. I was what,
Wow.
20, 21 years old. My first coaching year, I was up against my own sensei.
Wow,
It was so dramatic, man. It was so dramatic. And that was our first championship year as Ateneo Judo.
So wait. Are you saying we beat them during that first year?
We beat everybody.
Okay.
That was the first championship year ng UAP Judo. It was very timely. It was also the first time that my brother was also a freshman, and I took my masteral, so I was still eligible. I was a playing coach, so we had a very powerful lineup. Me and my brother were in the lineup, and of course all the seniors who were there. And then yun nga, man, it was so dramatic, finals, and we were up against UP, and I was up against my own coach, my own sensei.
All right,
But
great.
I think I made him proud.
Parang may part dito na tadhana. Coach Archie, ikaw naman, tadhana ba o talagang pinlano mo ang pagko-coach dito sa Ateneo? I know, of course, we know that you're just a champion swimmer national in internationally, but tadhana ba o talagang you wanted to be a coach also?
Oh, well, I started out as like parang assistant coach. It started in almost the same as Coach Alice na yung club namin. I was still in a club setting that. Nawalan kami ng coach, so I had to actually take over coaching the club team. It was, I think, college pa ako, 1999 year 2000. But getting to Ateneo, I was called upon by, I think was still what's the name of the program head of that? The director at that time, si Jun. And basically, it was simple. Tinawagan lang niya ako. We had a meeting. I told them what we can do. They told me where Ateneo Swimming was at that time. And at that time, actually, Ateneo Swimming was ano pa, not known. Medyo malayo pa. We never even entered the top three sa UAP Championship. So, yeah. And then after that, we slowly built our program.
Well, apparently it's been working. 6 straight championship
Yes.
for the men's and 3 for the women. Siguro, let me just ask this question and you guys can jump in. Feel free, no? What is something that parang unique in coaching Ateneo? I also know you coach clubs. And from what I've heard, well, most of your coaching has really been with Ateneo. But what is something unique or siguro slash unique slash challenging with coaching Ateneans? Anyone?
Well, for
Yes,
me, in our
sige,
club,
go.
we would normally have younger kids. So getting into Ateneo, so you have to deal with, of course, a bit, yung parang yung alanganin yung stage na they're not like full adults yet, but they're getting there. And of course, there's so many parang things that they'd like to try, especially, of course, when you get into college. Nag-iiba yung mundo mo, lumalaki, and then you're meeting new friends, there's so many things that are presented to you. So that part is a bit challenging, yung to keep them very focused in the sport.
Oh, kasi one time or another, coach, no, tayo din pinagdaanan natin yan. Nagbibinata at nagdadalaga tayo. Yung mga relationships, mga, kung ano-ano na pwede natin i-explore. Coach Ali, ikaw naman.
Well, right now, I just mentioned, no, I'm a head coach for one of the national teams, and they're all great athletes. They all come from great backgrounds, and I've handled other athletes before in other events and groups. But what makes the Ateneo athlete different, and I can really say this strongly, it's their sense of magis. It really makes a difference. Okay, and I know we don't have ownership to Magis and all that concept, but it's something that really comes out from these Ateneo athletes. No bola. The idea of trying to be excellent, to achieve excellence in whatever you do, regardless of motivation or reward, diba? We were actually at the bottom of the barrel nung time that we started, and up until the few years where we achieved the championship status, we were the underdogs. We kind of enjoyed being the underdogs. It gave us something to strive for. So yun na nagdala sa amin eh. Yung Magis talaga eh. It's really that, you know.
Great. Magis, for those who are watching, its excellence is doing a little bit more than what is required of you. Coach Archie, ikaw naman. Any thoughts
Yes,
about the question?
yeah, ako actually, nung pumasok ako sa Ateneo, I would say siguro for about 3-4 years, almost every year, halos may nakakaaway ako mga athletes and swimmers natin. And
Talaga?
because, yeah, talagang, when I'm talking about talagang, kung pwede kami magsapakan talaga kami. And I think it's, when I start thinking about it, it's, kasi before I came in, I was coaching the junior national squad. And then so yung concept ko of swimming, it's parang almost like they should be pro. They should be living about swimming. It's everything about swimming. And kaya nagagalit ako minsan, they would papalusot sila, they're not gonna train because they would have an exam or medyo pagod sila because all these things. And when I was in college and I was also an athlete, I never use that as an excuse. I don't care if I have exam later, I'll train now. And slowly ko lang din siya na inaintindihan, and it's really more of a parang give and take. So I really need to understand them, their situation na it's stressful, not everyone is looking at the sport that way, and I have to adjust then my coaching style na I can make it work for them to be more holistic, and it's not just about training and swimming. So after a few years naman, medyo naging mas maganda, naging mas maayos na, and I think naging mas maganda because I think created a better relationship with the athletes.
Oh, great. I don't know if you were subtly getting it, but yung ating mga coaches are also coaches in the with the national team, national juniors
Yeah.
team, all of these things. Sige, tutuloy ako with this in mind. I know we are basically on the online platform with the pandemic. We are all of us, nabanggit nyo nga when we started our greetings earlier, we're having some challenges. Can you give me a little bit of something na medyo kakaiba sa ginawa or ginagawa nyo ngayon with our online training? Coach Ali, mauna ka na kasi you kind of gave me a little bit of precursor to what that was or what you guys are doing na medyo unique na hindi nyo ginagawa dati when we were doing
Okay.
on-site or face-to-face training.
I also outsourced an instructor, a certified instructor for animal flow movements. Okay,
Animal
and
flow. Sorry, tama
yeah,
ba, Coach?
because
Animal
yes,
flow movements.
yes, actually, there's quite a few certified instructors in the country right now. What's great about it is these are solo drills. I call it parang it's like explosive yoga.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not they're not static positions, but they're movements that we actually use for our sport. They allow our athletes to maintain their form, to practice the similar movements that we do with partners, but on their own. It's very, very interesting. You guys should look into it because it's applicable for any sport, I think. And what I like about it is the kids really enjoy it because it starts simple and they recognize that these are familiar movements. They actually have been doing this on their own with a partner when we were still training together, and now they're getting to do it on their own. And then it progresses into something more challenging. So it really breaks up a sweat for them, and they're exploring new movements. They're becoming more acrobatic. They're becoming more flexible, definitely. So it's like they're able to maintain peak form even if we're not having actual face-to-face training. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
great.
been great so far. It's been great.
Grabe creativity niyo, Coach Ali. Coach Archie, ikaw naman, anything, siguro pwede kayo dun fish, di ba? Fish. Yung,
Yeah. Well, yun nga. I think
Sabihin mo
yung
lang, yun lang. Go, go,
situation,
go.
yeah, situation namin is a little different because yun nga, we usually train in a swimming pool. So unless you're someone with a swimming pool in the back sa backyard mo, then it's really hard. But initially we started like a simulation then. So we had some bands and some cords, and we just try to do the movements. Yun lang, and then some strength and conditioning program nila, which we do online naman. Slowly after a few months, medyo nakakasawa na. There's only so much that you can actually do on land. Lalo na yun nga, like
True.
sa swimming, we have to get into the water. But I think it also helped kasi when we were doing that simulation online, medyo nag-focus talaga sila sa technique. And it's talagang harapan eh. It's unlike when you're in the pool, usually they just swim, and yung technique namin minsan nakakalimutan namin. But right now, most of them are able to swim. Merong iba na nakaka-group in their club, yung mga sports club, kasi it's open as an individual sport nga. Yung iba, they try to look for kahit sa condo lang nila and everything, and then we just try to communicate kung ano naman nagagawa. But still, wala pa rin yung dynamic na really everyone in the group, everyone, challenging everyone else. So, but other than that, I think malaki na yung progress namin, especially for the start of this year na talagang everybody we're given a chance to, look for their pools and, a place for them to train.
Yeah, and if you're listening to us, yung mga athletes, some of them, if they're above 18, they train on their own. But generally for us, we are all online. Para lang alam nyo. Baka kasi may mga taga-IATF na, baka may mga IATF na nanonood dito. We're all online. Okay? So,
Yes.
para lang Oh, Miss Kennie.
Yes.
Any unique things?
Well, nothing really unique. I mean, from the start, we would incorporate, the physical aspect of the training and our drills for badminton. But of course, we take into consideration a very limited ang spaces. Even to do the drills, sometimes you can't even use the racket because you might hit the ceiling, or maybe the area is smaller, so they can't actually do the full drill of the footworks and stuff. So me and my coaches, who also happen to have graduated from Ateneo, si Coach Roy and Coach Bianca, we would all have meetings every now and then to try and parang target what we want to and make it a little more interesting. So, for example, we want to focus on their stamina, their speed. We don't, as much as possible, we try to look for exercises that target the same, ano pa rin, the same, kumbaga, goal, but we try to make it different. So it's not so boring. Parang it's not always the same exercise. It's not always the same thing that they're doing. So at least that's good. We get to discuss it and then we try our best to make it a little more interesting. Kasi for us, we train like 3 times a week online together. And then the other 3 days, we send them their programs so that they can do it in their own free time. Para hindi masyadong pressured na at a certain time we all have to be here. But like what Coach Archie said, kasi badminton is technically allowed na for, to be played and I have a lot of players like in the provinces and stuff like that. So mas safe ng konti sa kanila. So they can, some of them actually go to the courts nearest their house and they try to play kasi talagang hindi pwedeng zero eh. But yun nga, we always remind them to be extra careful, to follow, the protocols that should be.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about our coaches. No? We also follow yung mga protocols protecting our student athletes. We're going to go back to our Ateneo program and also our Ateneo athletes. But I want to talk about the three of you on a personal level. What is one thing when you were athletes that you were really, one competition, one award, or one achievement para makilala kayo ng mga tao kasi you're talking about the program. But ano yung one thing na, medyo humble, ng konting yabang ng konti. Para marinig ng mga viewers natin, yung proud ka. Like ako, for example, I used to play in Ateneo. I'm so proud ako na I was part of our inter-barangay MVP sa Pasig. Okay? So, yun,
Wow.
hindi nyo ako, iba yung level.
Humble nga.
Okay? So kayo, simulan natin, Coach Archie, what are you proud of when you were an athlete?
I think I would say more on the national level when we were, that's meron yung mga national games, diba? After pala Philippine National Games. And being swimming kasi, we have around 17 gold medals ang available for the men's. And for a national level, I would usually win around between 7 to 10 of them. So that's
this is the yabang question.
No. Yeah. So it's more on it's versatility in terms of the swimming. I think yun yung naging I was able to swim multiple events, do well in multiple events.
What was your main event? Like your special?
Kasi swimming there's what they call the individual medley where you swim all the 4 strokes.
Yun
so actually yun ako naging
Wow, galing naman. Don't worry, humble pa rin kayo sa utak ko. Ako nagtatanong nito. So ako sisisihin nyo. Okay? Pero yung mga coaches po namin, very humble yan. Talagang yung host po yung problema para Okay, Coach Ali!
Yung first championship year namin, nakuha kami as NCR team for Palarong Pambansa. I got injured really bad. As in, pumutok yung tuhod ko tsaka ankle 2 weeks before the event.
Wow.
Okay. And, man, dapat wala na ako eh. But I insisted on going because, my brother's part of the team. I wanted to fight alongside my brother also. So we were sent to Bacolod. Man, umiika-ika ako up until like 2 days before the event. Nakabalot yung legs ko. And then my last match, tinira yung injured leg ko. I couldn't get up. Everybody was booing me. And then I just pulled off this move from out of the hat. It's like a magic trick. Grappling siya. I just jumped on the guy. I rolled on the floor with him, and he tapped out really fast. There's another event where my same championship match. It was the last match of my division. My shoulder got dislocated. So after the scuffle, I stood up, and then I realized hindi ko na magalaw yung left arm ko. And it wasn't functioning. It was nakalaylay, and it's like, oh my God, championship match na to eh. So, I just popped it back in really hard without anybody noticing. And then I did a spectacular throw. As in, When the guy charged at me, I just picked him up and body slammed him for the win. And then probably the last is it was just training there sa Blue Eagle Gym. Yeah, I was playing with one of my heavyweights. And then suddenly natuhod niya sideways yung leg ko. Automatic ACL, meniscus, and MCL, punit lahat. And I thought that
Dami
was
mo
the
injury,
end of
coach,
it.
ah.
Sobrang dami. I thought that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the end of my career, man. Really, iyak ako noon. I was crying, man. I was on the floor. And I thought tapos na ako. Okay, but I don't know. Something in me, 10 months ang rehab ko. I failed my hop test on the 8th month. On the 10th month, I had a hop test on Friday. Okay, and I passed my hop test on Friday. Saturday, the very next day, I told nobody. I registered for the Centennial Judo Championships, and I won the damn thing. Because
Wow.
I just want to get the phantom fear out of my head. You know, as
Yeah.
in years out of training, a year out of training, and no nothing. I just wanted to see how much how far belief and confidence can get me. I mention all this because this is the one lesson that's very prevalent through all the different batches of my program. Okay, all of them come from different motivations, different time eras, but there's one thing that proud to say, with all modesty, na inculcate ko sa lahat ng athletes ko. We don't give up,
Nice. Hey,
no
you're
matter what. We don't give up because judo can be a very dangerous sport if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, kung lalamya-lamya ka, literally they will pummel you and take you down to the ground and pin you down, and basically you lose. So this is one sport where you really have to fight and just put in yourself. We don't give up.
I'm glad you're leading our program. Number one, and I'm also glad that I did not take up judo. I don't think I have the guts for it. I think non-contact sport yata tayo, Coach Archie. Would you agree with me?
Oo, no? Di ko rin ano yan.
Coach Kenny.
Okay, so for local tournaments, ever since I started in the juniors until I retired, I never lost a single match. So I think that's my yabang moment locally. Internationally, my brother and I,
Ganun lang. Wait. Nakakatawa lang how you say it na parang napaka-casual, no, Coach Ali? I've never lost a match. Parang, okay, thank you so much. Parang, never lost a match. 5
but
years? In the,
but
ano? Like,
since juniors until I retired, as
okay.
in all
Okay.
events that I ever joined, singles, doubles, mixed doubles for local had. But that's not to say na ano ha. I mean, I was always kasi my dad as my coach would always guide me to never relax. I think that's one trait
Yeah.
na parang never feel like you're the best. 'Di ba nga there's a saying that you always train like you're number 2. Play
Yeah.
like you're number 1 but you train like you're number 2. So that's parang that was kinda growing up, never yung parang I never took anybody, parang wala akong ini-small na kalaban. As in when I go in, parang focus ka agad.
Mukha naman. Kasi
Ha?
you've never lost. Di ba? Parang LeVar Ball. Never lost. But go ahead. Sige, continue.
So that was local, and then international. When I graduated na, my brother and I teamed up, and fortunately, we made it to world ranking number 11. So it was, I think, a double for my parents because it was me and my brother. Parang I think it's rare also na to have siblings like be partners and not be fighting on court. So parang ang dami ring parents that come to us asking how it's done. Pero I would always say, yun nga, it's proper guidance talaga from the coaches, from my dad who really made it a point na okay kaming dalawa individually, and parang if there are misunderstandings to sort it out right away. So yun yung sa international, the ranking 11. We were the first Filipinos to ever qualify for the World Championships, and still only the only Filipinos to be invited to the World Cup. Kasi the World Cup by ranking yun eh. So yun, parang I think yun ang two siguro na most for me.
Wow, nakakalula lang talaga hearing the three of you. And, I wish we could have all our other coaches here, or all our other program heads. Kaya lang, medyo masikip sa screen, no? But we'll have them some other time. Let me shift gears for a bit here. Going back as coach, if you were to say a coach is also a what to our student athletes, what would that be? Okay, so a coach would be also
A family.
Wow,
A
dami.
24-hour
Actually,
family,
it's a lot.
Kasi you really invest on your players eh. Like, since I think most of us would have many players in our teams, you deal with them individually and in different ways. You cannot have one standard way of speaking. Speaking pa lang, I'm just talking about speaking pa lang. This can be encouraging for one athlete, but it can be discouraging for another. Yung iba, you kind of like push them. Basic lang, boys and girls lang, you talk to them very differently. Sa boys, mas rough
Yeah,
ka, parang you push them talagang to the max. But sa girls, you can't do that.
challenge
They're,
lang.
yung
Yeah,
sa girls, madi-discourage yan, they'll feel so, yung self-esteem nila, bababa. So, there's different ways of, so I feel like a coach is also a family member because you have to know them on a personal level. You don't just train on court, even outside eh. Even outside, you kind of build something in them. You wish na meron kang mabibigay sa kanilang tips that will help them even if they're not on court. So
yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
member. Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
Hindi lang tayo coach. Coach
I
Ali,
agree.
coach is also
Yeah,
Uh,
well, in my experience, we played the role of counselor, second parent, guardian. I mean, because I've been doing this for what, 20 years or more. So, but I guess to sum it all up, um, we're a fixed point. We just have to be a fixed point for these guys. I mean, and that entails being, in a, because we're not perfect. We're also people. Okay.
yeah.
It's a reminder also that we set the example for these guys. They're not going to follow us if we don't set the example. I mean, one of the first parts of my coaching years, it was easy to do that because I was on the mats training with these guys.
Yeah.
Okay, I was doing all the routines, all the sparring sessions with them. I can still do that now. It's just much harder.
Uh-uh.
I'm still doing it now. It's just much harder. But yun malaking if you set the example also. And even if you can't set the example physically, your reputation or legacy will speak for itself. It's being a fixed point in everything that you're teaching them, the philosophies and the concepts behind what you're showing them. They have to see it in you. So
Nice.
yeah, we have to be a fixed point.
Great. Coach Archie?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like yung sinabi ni Coach Ken and Coach Ali na, you have to be a parent, you have to be a father or mother, depende kung ano siya, a mentor. But sa akin din, so, case you have to be a role model. It's hard to actually teach something na they don't see in you. You have to be disciplined pa rin. You have to show some professionalism or, actually show enthusiasm or love for the sport when you're there. So, yun din minsan actually mahirap. You're trying to tell them na parang, you have to sleep well, sleep 8-10 hours a day. And then makita nila, alam nila you're sleeping, you're online 1-2 a.m. And it's hard to convince them. You eat properly, wag kayong uminom, wag kayong but they see you, doing all this stuff. So, I think yun nga, I think it's part of being a parent din naman. If you're a parent of a kid,
Parang
like
parent
to
na
be,
second parent.
yeah,
No?
you really have to be a role model. You have to, walk the talk.
Mga love life ba? Nalalapitan ba kayo ng mga bata? Love life?
Yeah.
Nako, all
Yeah.
yata na-cover na namin eh.
Oh,
That's what I always say, Actually,
Mm,
what's more tiring as a coach is
exactly.
yung being more personal with them. Kasi because they have to be fully well and okay, or just basically teaching them to set aside those emotions when they're training, when they're in a tournament. Yun, medyo madugo yun eh. So I think all aspects yata na cover na namin
Hindi
eh.
talaga pwede yung yung cookie cutter coaching, no? Yung it has to be really individualized, and
Yeah.
I guess that's leadership. Sige, let me kind of land this thing. Please give me one athlete that has gone through your program that you will really remember? Oh, Coach Archie, can you give me one? One of
Okay.
many. Oh, let's phrase it
Alright,
this way.
sige.
There are so
Siguro I
many,
would,
but Coach L only asks for one.
okay. So I'll start siguro one na medyo nag-graduate na around 3-4 years ago. Si Axel, me. He
Mm.
never, he was part of the national team. Pero ang ano ko lang doon why, I'll remember him. When he came in kasi, iba yung perception niya about the sport. It's just something na you do to parang pag nanalo kasi sikat ka, something like that. It's hindi pa niya nakita yung importance ng sport sa development niya. But along the way, so from being parang bonjing athlete to being talagang a national level athlete to being a team captain and a leader to nung kahit graduate na siya, he was still very concerned about the team. He was kahit minsan personally trying to talk to other kids. So I think yung full development niya from parang yun nga bonding to being a leader to being almost a coach na rin or a leader nga. So I think
So yung,
a mentor, sorry, being a mentor.
so yung growth, yung development nung bata, yun yung maalala mo talaga. Among others, I'm sure marami pa yan.
Doon nakita ko
Oo.
yes.
Great. Sige. Coach Kenny.
Sige, for me, dadayain ko, Toby C. Dalawang tao yun, no?
Kaya
Hindi,
talaga.
sige.
Sige.
Okay. I like them both, but sige, I'll go with Toby first for now. Si Toby kasi, Ateneo yan all the way, from grade school all the way. Ang daming pinagdaanan. Kasi parang medyo nag-abot pa kami as athletes pareho before I actually was coaching him. And I think it was memorable for me kasi parang, at some point when you coach someone for so long, you think na baka minsan you're not getting through them or maybe kulang na or maybe they need to hear it from somebody else. But in one of the UAAPs and then nung natapos kami when we talked, parang sinabi niya, coach, you just said a simple word pero it meant so different when I was on court. Every time you say something. So parang sobra ako na-touch sa kanya na very pa rin siya. Yung kumbaga our relationship is very, very good in that aspect. Yung nag-evolve siya. Hindi lang siya very simple. Ito lang sinabi mo. It changes his outlook. It makes him better. It pushes him more.
Galing.
So, ayun.
Thank you for keeping it to one. Pero I'm sure if you're listening, you're a player of Coach Archie, Coach Kenny, marami pa. Kaya lang,
marami sila.
Marami pa. Baka next episode naman, in episodes. Coach Ali, anong natin? Sorry, what, bro?
Really, I can't answer that question as it is. But kung humingi ka ng isa, I can give you one embodiment.
Oh, sige, embodiment.
I can't say a name. It would have to be all the team captains in our history. Say lahat all of them talaga yes. I'm sorry, I can't give you one name. All of them
sure.
embody that sacrifice, passion, being the middleman between the coaching staff and the players. It was more than, they really stepped up to the role and it was really challenging. Okay. And really, because of that, most of our team captains are they become really successful people in their chosen careers or endeavors.
Galing. Parang nalugi ata si Coach Archie, dun siya nauna dun sa tanong. But anyway, magulang, na-judo tayo dun sa tanong. But again, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't definitely understand. Ito na siguro last question. So, sorry, mahilig ako sa one thing kasi para marami naman. Pero there is one advice or one building block for a young person, or what are the traits that are needed so that I can actually reach what you guys have reached and what your athletes have reached. Coach Archie?
Ako I always emphasize it. I mean, medyo corny but it's really discipline. And I always try to give an example na parang when there are a lot of times that you're not going to be motivated, ayaw mo gumising, ayaw mag-train, ayaw mo, even just a choice of kakain ka ba ng maayos or hindi. But it's really just discipline and it's a development then. Discipline is you try to develop it as the years goes by. But always make the right choice. Always do what you think will help you in attaining your goals. Wag mo
Definitely.
nang keep it simple na parang just, like nasanay, just do it. Just do what's right, do what needs to be done.
Okay,
Hello,
just do
kasi
it.
nawala.
Tama, buti sponsor natin yun. Katulad nung Get Blued. Pakita nyo naman yung mga t-shirt nyo. Sponsor tayo ng Get Blued. Ayun, no? Get sponsor. So, nabanggit mo yung Nike. Sponsor nila, but ito, Get Blued. So, maraming salamat. Okay! Thank you, Coach Archie. Coach Kenny, any piece of advice for those young athletes who dream of, maybe being part of the Ateneo badminton team?
You have to believe in yourself. Believe talaga is a very powerful word. I think the physical aspect is easier to train. You just keep training, you'll really get stronger. But yung ano mo talaga, yung belief mo in yourself that you can actually do it. You have to believe enough for you to be able to get there. Parang I always tell my players, the word upset was created because it's made, it's really there to be done. So if you want to upset someone stronger than you, then you really have to believe na kaya mo. We
Galing.
all start out with someone being better than us, but if you believe na you can catch up, if you believe you can overcome this person, then that's the only time it's going to happen.
So, discipline, Coach Archie, mindset, belief in yourself, Coach Kenny. Coach Ali, take, natin, pang fourth quarter, last 2 minutes.
I guess I would give the formula. You have to have a dream. Okay? No matter how high, it's okay. Panaginip lang naman eh. It's free to dream, right? But, okay, you have to have perseverance. Okay? To get it. So, nandiyan yung determination, yung hard work, it's all, but let's just call it perseverance. Okay? But the missing element for some people, okay, and I've seen it why some people can't achieve their dream, no matter how hard they try and everything, because I think there's a missing element. Some people who have succeeded can attest to this. Okay? There is that element of sacrifice. What are you willing to offer? What are you willing to give up, okay, in order to achieve your dreams? Okay, so if you want to be effective, be determined. Have a dream, be determined. Okay, and it would take sacrifice. What are you willing to do to achieve your dream? That's it.
Wow. I have 2 athletes here at home. I have 2 boys who are in different sports. Definitely, I will remind them of what I have learned today, the discipline, the belief in yourself, and the sacrifice. Guys, I wish we had so much more time. Pero we really learned a lot from you, Coach Archie, Coach Kenny, Coach Ali. Maraming salamat na napaunlakan nyo kami dito sa Eagles in the Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Elaine. It's great. Thanks for having us.
Thank you much.
Coach Kenny, Coach Archie. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It's a
So,
pleasure.
Thank you,
So, yung
Coach
mga-
Kelly, Kenny.
yung mga alumni athletes, love kayo nung 3 coaches from start to end, okay? Para lang malinaw.
Yeah, right.
but anyway, thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people, whether our Ateneo community or people who follow Ateneo sports, are really excited. I'm sure we're all waiting and praying that we will have a season soon. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
so definitely a lot of things to look forward to. Again, we are so happy that you are our coaches and that you are developing men and women who really are going to be leaders not only in the UAP but as they graduate. God bless you guys. Maraming salamat, coaches. Thank you so much, Coach Kenny, Coach Archie, and Coach Ali, our champion coaches from the Ateneo. I am sure that you guys have learned a lot as much as I have learned a lot from them. Before we end, I would like to thank our sponsors, Get Blued. Itong shirt ko ulit, no? Sponsor, and offer 100% good. Yung mga kanilang mga shirts, probably wear it in the future. And also, ang ating Ateneo Sports Shooters. For those pictures that you saw, thank you so much for lending those pictures to us. Ang gaganda ng mga kuha. So, dyan nagtatapos ang ating episode for today. We hope that you will follow all our social media platforms. Itong Twitter, you can see it all down here. Facebook, Instagram, please check us out. Again, we are thankful that you joined us. Please catch us in our next episodes, and it will be exciting as we highlight the Ateneo Sports Program. God bless you. One big fight.